good evening. Happy time zone. I'm on a one-off project today. It's a little dwarf from Reaper Miniatures. Do a little bit of tidying up. Hey, Mango. Oh, man. Gonna do a little bit of tidying up before I start. Because there's just a few mob lines and things like that. I'm using a scalpel, but if you're not comfortable using your scalpels, you can use mold line removers or whatever. I like a scalpel because they get into some of the areas a bit better than the mold line remover tools, but the tools work just as well. Morning, Indy. Welcome in. I hope everyone's doing well. Everyone's having a good weekend. So yeah, this step isn't necessary. It's just to kind of tidy up the edges a bit. It's just taking off any excess. This is usually where the mold for the model is joined. It's usually where you'll see like little tabs like this or little mold lines. You're starting to see it less as more companies switch over to using 3D printing, but it's still a thing. Never seen a scalpel like that before? This is a hobby scalpel. It's just got a smaller blade for models. It just allows you to get into smaller areas. If you look up hobby scalpels online, they'll usually have a number of different blades. You'll have your standard scalpel blade, and they'll have a few different shapes. I like this one. This is probably my favorite. But yeah, there's a few different shapes you can get. It is unusual if you've not used hobby scalpels before. But the principle's the same. I mean, this handle loosens so I can remove the blade very easily. Like that. And switch it out if I want to. But yeah. No, it's not going to get back in, is it? That's not going back in now. Why is it not doing that? There you go. How am I staying? I'm doing alright, thank you, Indy. Very, very tired, but that's not unusual. I'm looking forward to some relaxation after stream. I do have to apologise for not streaming on Friday. I didn't have the energy to do it. I just needed some time. Needed a break. I've been streaming a lot this week, so I hope you all can forgive me for that. I think that's got all of the mold lines off. Apart from this little bit under here. So this model is from Reaper Minis, like I mentioned. Came in one piece, no assembly needed, so that was quite nice. It's just, you know, take it out of the packaging and start working on it. cheap ones from hardware stores that are one part. Yeah, I mean you can use those as well, absolutely. I prefer using the ones with reusable handles just because they're a little more eco-friendly. You don't even have to use a scalpel. There are plenty of online removal tools out there as well. For example, I do have one somewhere. And they do the exact same thing. Where's my mold blend remover tool? It's hiding somewhere. But yeah, there are various different tools and stuff you can use as well. Like I said, I prefer the ones with the scalpels with reusable handles, because you can chop and change your blades out, and they're a little more eco-friendly, so you're not creating a lot of plastic waste and whatever. But it's worth trying out different things and seeing what works for you. Now, this guy is going to be painted all in one session kind of a model. So I'm going to do a bit of base coat first, a bit of a primer. Get straight into it. So he's a excuse me, he's a dark dwarf. They usually have a sort of bit of an evil lava stone kind of a vibe to it. So you know, it's usually more ashy skin, black armor, usually with red or orange eyes. I'm going with the classic color schemes here. You're a cool little D&D mini. The thing I love about Reaper minis is they're ready to go straight out the box. You don't need to prep them, you don't need to wash them, you don't need to... A lot of the time you don't even need to remove mold lines. So if you want to just do something quick and easy, I definitely recommend taking a look at Reaper minis for models to try out. I got a huge selection. I actually got this guy as part of a partnership that fell through a couple of years ago. Not with Reaper, I may add. A partnership with another brand that didn't actually end up happening. And yeah, it was unfortunate, but I did end up with some cool minis out of it. So I'm just giving this guy a primer coat at the moment. Normally I prefer to spray paint when it comes to primer because you just get a thinner, more even coat. And there's less of a risk of missing stuff. But brushes is fine. You just gotta be careful to get all the bits, not to miss any spots. I'm just gonna do a super quick coat on the bottom there. It's not really needed on the bottom, but it makes me feel better knowing that it's done. I hope everyone's having a good weekend. I hope everyone's getting time to relax. This week has been tough. I've been on enforced relaxation, and it's been very strange to kind of resist the urge to keep doing stuff. I have to slow down, like way down. It's really, really strange. I never expected it to be difficult. Like, oh, you need to rest more. Okay, I'll do nothing. Surprisingly difficult when you're used to doing 100 things at once. Claim the wow man? The bear, you mean, Indy? I did. Super cute. That's quite nice. It was a nice surprise to see that on Prime. I don't often see mounts. It's usually like transmogs or like little emotes or stuff like that. Alright, so I'm switching over to actual paints now rather than primer. Like I said, these guys usually have quite ashy skin. You have the... It was going to be kind of coal colours. I think burning coals is your colour palette. So lots of greys, blacks, but also fire colours, so red, orange, that kind of thing. I enjoy the light mango. I appreciate it. Now, I don't normally willingly choose gold, but I feel like gold is a good dark armor trimmed in gold and brass colours. I think would be quite fun for this guy. That's what we're going with. Current goals on WoW? I'm not actually playing much WoW at the moment, Indie. I kind of just needed a bit of a break from it. But I've been trying out some different playthroughs on Stardew instead. I started a new one on the monster farm. That's been quite fun, actually. It's surprising how quickly you get your combat skills up. But yeah, WoW-wise, I've been taking a break. I need something a little less concentration heavy. How is your gathering skills, well, gathering classes quest going? I know you were really close. I can't remember if you said you'd actually got them all. In Final Fantasy, I mean. Again, this is just the first layer, so it's just warp block bronze over black. Nice and straightforward. Don't forget his shoes. I don't know what the terminology for armored boots is, but he's got armored booties on. Kind of love this because he does look like an Dark Iron Dwarf from WoW, actually. That's what I'm going with. I'm going with very much with the Dark Iron Dwarf vibe. You finished with it. Nice. Congratulations, Cindy. Your goals are popped up. Which goals are they then, Indy? I know you mentioned some new stuff with poetics. Is there anything else? More armor over here. The armor is going to be the most predominant part of this model. Such a little guy. Excuse my wrist pops up. I realised that was quite loud. Yeah, the other beauty of these is that they don't take very long. So it's going to be a relatively short stream today. Purely because it's going to be quite quick. Drag cards, Castles of the Dead. Oh, some relic weapons. That sounds like you're gonna be busy. It's cool though. It's good to have a lot of different goals to work on. I've finally got back to doing some writing again. I missed writing. I'm doing a lot of writing recently. Nothing that's ready to share yet, but soon maybe. And obviously working on my garden as well. I got everything in individual pots at the moment, so I'm hoping that I can still grow them in confined areas. Kind of just hoping for the best. No greenhouse or anything to protect them from the weather. Yeah, just kind of very much taking things slowly this week. I needed, well, I was under doctor's orders to not do a lot, so I'm taking it seriously for a change. I think I mentioned at the beginning of the week that I got a bit of a health scare. It luckily turned out to be nothing, but it was enough to convince me that I really needed to slow down. Beard and eyebrows and things like that knocked out. And also get his eyebrows back. So, these are all initial layers. I want to try and work in as much as I can into such a small model. I was thinking, like, what would he wear underneath his armor? Probably some sort of tunic. Some sort of cloth. Maybe poke out the edges of his armor a little. You just see little flashes of it around the edges of his armor. I think I made a little bit of an error, but I can fix it very easily at this stage. think this guy's actually got mostly bare arms. I don't think he's even wearing gloves. So you'd probably see bare skin here. Between his shoulder and his gauntlets. And also his hands. It definitely fits with the dwarven attitude of my skin is harder than rock and stone. Your puny weapons don't scare me. Nothing else even 11 sword? Aww. That's cool. Getting ahead of himself with the Dragoon quest. It's easy to do that in Final Fantasy. It's easy to get ahead of yourself. I hope he's enjoying it though. Looking for a collar. Yes. It's time to switch up. I'll switch down paint brushes. Grab my teeny tiny one, which I forgot to get out because I'm a genius. We'll go on in just a moment. I need to grab this. I need to go paint shopping soon. A lot of my paints are running low or drying out. This means I have to get creative with what I paint for the next couple of days or couple of weeks until I can go shopping. Stormblood. I'll get there eventually, Indy. Effectively adding armor trim here because there isn't really any modeled, but I feel like armor of this kind would have it. I'm adding it in. Okay, that's one side. A little dark armor. And I have to bring this across here. And the same again on the other side. I think if this was a bigger model, I probably wouldn't add this extra detail in. But ironically, the smaller model makes me feel like I have a bit more freedom to do that. Even if my paintbrush is being uncooperative. That's fine, I'll just go back and correct it later. Next week, what have we got planned? There'll be a new painting project next week. That's for sure. Something I'm not done yet. More Stardew Valley, because that's quickly becoming my main game. I don't know if I'll play Gris or Gree, however you pronounce it. Or if I'll play something else. It kind of depends on if I can get the tech issues I was having resolved with it. I think next week is going to be a little bit of an easier week for me there. I think I kind of overscheduled myself this week. I think I'm going to stream on fewer days, but stream for a bit longer on those days. If I can. Yeah, I'm going to have quite a chill week next week. I also go back to work at the end of the week, so that's going to be fun. Kind of dreading it already, but you know, at some point it's got to happen. Some tidying up work I need to do on that. We're gonna let it dry first. So while that's drying, we can start on the front. So this is a combination of kind of tidying up those lines and also getting a better kind of coat of this bronze on there. So the idea is just to make the lines look a bit more even. I think we've largely got all of it. It's just the front that kind of went a bit haywire. for a little bit. Well, that armor calms down a bit. Oh my goodness. That brush decided to go for a walkabout. I'm using kind of a darkish grey here, just highlighting. Again, I'm kind of trying to keep it like ash colored. One of the paints I was hoping to use is completely dried out, so plan B on that one. One thing I've always noticed about dark dwarves in general, they always have kind of almost eerie red eyes. So I've gone with that. Let's get some dark grey in here as well. I do kind of love painting hair. I love layering the different colours and highlights in there. looking better by the minute. Gotta mix up this paint quickly. Hopefully it works. It does not want to cooperate with me. Alternative plan. Because we gotta get these hammers painted on here. I want to go for a more brass colour, but this also works. I'm just kind of weathering down the shield a little bit. It's because the bright silver kind of looks a little bit odd with the rest of the armor and stuff. So I just want it to look a little bit less bright and shiny and a little more dark. Plus, this has the added benefit of tidying up any bits that I missed before. Okay. The only kind of bright and shiny bit that I want is the axe. The axe is going to be his pride and joy. Taking a silver. I'm going to really try and brighten up the edge. Brighten the edge. Darken the bit that the edge is next to. And it will look brighter by comparison. Okay, a bit better. I think I can do better there. Where are my silvers? There they are. That's a check and a hydrate. Thank you, Wendy. Everyone is sitting comfortably. Don't forget to stretch. Relax your shoulders. Unclench your jaw. Take a break from the screen if you need it. Self-care checkpoint. Don't forget to hydrate. I hope you all have a tasty beverage. I'm drinking Monster this morning because I am extremely tired. I have things I need to do today. Okay, let's see if this works. Maybe getting there. Okay. Final attempt. Sometimes, even if you know your paints really, really well, sometimes there's a little bit of trial and error involved. Especially if you're looking for a specific effect. Okay, that's a little better. I don't think I'm ever going to get it quite right, so I'm going to leave it as is now. It's not going to be exactly as I want it, but it's close enough that I'm happy with it. Okay. Naturally, as soon as I'm happy with it, I instantly get gold on the edge, so That's neat. Let's see what we got here. Come on. Not the color I was looking for. Also not the color I was looking for. Let's go with this one instead then. Just looking for a excuse me. Looking for a color for the base. I want something a little bit contrasting. Yeah, it's something that's not on the model, so it kind of stands out a little bit. The magic of Reaper minis is that often they don't have the minute details. So you can actually take more time with the bigger details. Like, if I wanted to, I could probably paint each individual cobblestone here. And it wouldn't take an insane amount of time. I've got a really good handle on detail. Just tidying up the red, and then I think I might actually even be done already. A little bit that I still need to do actually. Friday's gonna be immensely fun. What's happening on Friday, Andy? Almost forgot. Lunch. Four Guys with Friends. Jedi Survivor pizza. Pizza dinner and Dutch pancakes. That sounds amazing. That sounds like an excellent Friday. I hope you do enjoy it, and you deserve it. Just want to do one final pass on the armor. Just to really get it as sharp as I can, basically. One of my weekend plans? Well, I'm under orders to rest and relax. So as soon as I'm done with stream, that's what I'm going to be doing. I did all my chores and stuff, so today is just kind of a sofa day. Goodness, Zeno, thank you so much for the raid. Welcome in. I hope you're doing well. I hope you're doing well, Zeno. Thank you so much for Lucy, welcome in. How am I doing? I'm doing great, thank you. How was your stream? Thank you again so much for the raid. What were you playing, Zeno? Yeah, lots of fun. I'm glad to hear it. Really, really glad to hear it. Thank For those who have just come over on Cena's Road and who don't know me, my name is Josie, a variety streamer from the UK. I play all sorts of games, from Stardew Valley to Power Sim, lots of comfy games. And once a week I also paint minis on stream, such as the one that you see in front of you. This little guy that we're working on today, if the camera will focus. Yeah, welcome in. Again, thank you for sharing your community with me, Zeno. I really appreciate it. We're just working on the final finishing touches for this model. There's only a really short one today, which is fine. Most of the time I'm working on bigger projects, but we're kind of in between bigger projects at the moment. Amazing, spectacular. Oh, thank you, Zeno. I appreciate that. I try my best. You are too kind. Oh my goodness.
Battleship_Colorado 45 just resubscribed for 36 months. 36 months? 3 whole years? 1095 days of following this amazing, kind, awesome, cool, good bean, hecking amazing painter of minis, and queen of the heretic pandas. Hell freaking yes, you know it. Glad to be here. How are you, Jinxie? Happy 3rd subiversary, and where the hell has the time gone?
I was gonna say, where has the time gone? BC, thank you so much for 3 years. That's amazing. It's gone so quickly. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. I hope you're well as well, BC. It was really good to see you. Yeah, we're just working on this little guy. Right, first night of race season. Oh, that's good to hear. That's really good to hear. I'm glad it went well. Yeah, we're just doing some chill painting. Seriously, BC, thank you so much for 3 years. That is really amazing. Pineapple pizza. Gotta love the pineapple pizza. I got sunburned. Oh no! Some left sun on that. Hopefully it's not too bad. I can't believe it's been 3 years already. That's genuinely like astounding. I can't believe I'm lucky enough to have such a good community behind me. No, it's all good. I got what you meant. I don't know. I try. Still hard to believe most days. I don't know what I did to deserve you all, but I'm glad that I have such an amazing community. Definitely would have been able to keep this up if I didn't. I appreciate all of you very much. Third stream anniversary coming up. Well, September of this year will be 6 years since I started streaming. Which is scary. It is really scary. It's a long time. And I feel like I'm only just kind of really getting started. When I started out on Twitch, it wasn't intending to be anything more than a hobby. It's very quickly become something that I want to pursue full time. It's just gotten under my skin in a way that I didn't ever anticipate. I mean, I didn't have the best luck with making friends in the beginning. But I am so grateful for everyone who's about this community right now. I feel like I really lucked out on that front. Wait, 4 years, Cindy. Jeez. Yeah, you missed a lot of the early missteps, BC, but that's probably for the best. It is definitely a happy little accident. I'll always be grateful, no matter what happens with the future of this channel. I'll be grateful for the time that I've already had. It's been amazing. I never anticipated that it would be something that would take me halfway around the world and back. Never anticipated any of it. Yeah, and I've made made the kind of friends that I will hopefully have for many, many years to come. It's truly changed my life for the better. And like I said, it feels like it's only just beginning, really. I think fully embracing the comfy streamer vibes is a good move. Definitely feels like I'm finally doing streaming the right way for me. I think I've got people who've been subbed to me for, since day dot, and they're still here somehow. Never understand what I did to deserve that, but that is something that I will always be grateful for. Thank you again, Xeno for the raid, BC for the big resub, and Indy for just being awesome. I appreciate all of you. Just doing a little bit of tidying up, but we're really close to actually being finished with this model. Just surprising. It's taken a lot less time than I anticipated. That's cool. It just means a bit of a shorter stream. Might even be able to turn this into a bit of a time lapse. Maybe. Let's see about that. Yeah. these out of the way so I can actually see what I'm doing. Got this little guy. Dark armor, his red tunic. Cool little D&D mini for anyone who is interested. I think I'm gonna call that done. So yeah, I think I'm gonna call it there as well for today. I'm kind of tired. Really kind of drained and low energy, so I'm gonna take it easy today. I apologize for the kind of short stream, but I hope you enjoyed it for the time to join me. Let's see if there's anyone I can read today. Everyone's already applying that I would normally read. Okay. But yeah. Sorry I can't send you on to someone else. Yeah, thank you all so much for joining me. I'll be live again next week. If you want to find out when. You can find all the social things there in the links in chat. Twitter's the best place to keep up to date with my schedule because it can change. Or you can check out Instagram if you want to see close-up photos of the minis that we paint and sneak peeks and all that sort of thing. But yeah, I'm going to leave it there for today. Thank you all very much for joining me. I will be back next week. There will be more streams. But in the meantime, I hope you have a wonderful day or night wherever around the world. Take care of yourselves. Stay safe. And I'll see you all very soon. Bye for now, folks.